die Phase, wo wirklich viel los ist. Wo ist der Berufsverkehr voll eingesetzt hat. Jetzt haben wir schon 3 Minuten Verspätung. Das wird
Right. The darker fabric definitely looks...
We're back, Candace! We've got a lot to tell.
Ah, welcome back.
Sounds like
Oh, Dia's here too!
You bet. So,
Reasonably.
I'll hate them didn't...
We haven't seen him at all.
Huh. I saw him around the village entrance earlier and figured he was
Did you find out anything? I see. So someone used a kind of incense to lead the exiled scholars away from the village.
The resurrection of King Deshret? First I've heard of it. Far as I know, the kind of incense you just mentioned is only popular beyond the wall. Scholars are fond of it, but as you can see, there aren't many scholars still studying around these parts. No seller would be able to make a profit. Not to mention making incense is labor-intensive. It seems someone from beyond the wall must...
Makes sense.
So what should we do?
If it was any other day, that... Didn't you say that the villager got his news from the tavern?
If Paimon remembers correctly.
Ah, yeah. Delavar, the scar-riddled bandit, Engur, the what? These guys have one thing in common, and that's being broke. The rougher life gets, the more they want to believe in King Deshret. Way they see it, King Deshret's resurrection is their only chance at overthrowing the Throwing all of Sumeru into chaos is the only way to change the way of life here in the desert. Anyway, that's my guess why they've chosen to become radical.
Tia! You're amazing! You really know this place
No merc can afford to slack off on gathering intelligence.
Let's head out.
Now hold on, you're staying... Aru Village is not a big place. Outsiders stand out here like a sore thumb. The desert is unforgiving, so the way of life here is... Compared to you, mercs like me are just third-rate amateurs. I've got no actual fighting skills to speak of. But that also makes it a whole lot easier for me to gain the... I need to go around and ask some... Good. Then we've got a plan. The Traveler and Paimon will go to Caravan Rebot with...
Alright, sounds like a plan!
wird auch erstmal nicht weniger. Da vorne ist ja auch schon...
Well, here we are again!
Sounds like you're starting to get familiar with the area.
Paimon's amazed every time we see the wall of Samiel.
I know what you mean. I had the same also, why is this high wall here? And can a wall really block sandstorms? It was only after I grew up that I realized the wall of Samiel isn't just there to keep out the sandstorms. It serves a more important purpose, keeping out people like us. Sumeru is run by wise and mighty sages. To them, us desert dwellers are nothing but tools that can be used and discarded at their whim. We're cheap labor, like livestock, but easier to control. Nothing more. Even if a child from the desert got the chance to obtain an Akasha terminal, almost all their requests for knowledge would be denied. The academia believes we're underserving. Geniuses like Sataria are one in a million. The other children never get a single chance to try and rewrite their fate, even though the academia knows very well that we're humans, just as they are.
That's terrible!
I would tear down this wall with my own hands if I could.
Hey, Dia,
No, not at all. This place just gets me. Besides, we're here to
yep, we got shh!
Caravan Rebot is crawling with people, so be careful what you say. We don't want... Our mission started the moment we arrived here. Let's go check out the tavern, maybe...
reichlich was los. Morgen, kommen Sie ruhig rein. Na klar, danke, morgen. Morgen, danke. Morgen.
Dieser kleine Kasten hilft Ingo dabei, pünktlich zu sein. Der Bordcomputer zeigt an, ob der Bus zu spät oder zu früh an einer Haltestelle einfährt. Bei einer Verspätung von über 2 Minuten schaltet die Anzeige auf Blau. Wird sie rot, dann ist Ingo zu früh und muss warten oder Tempo rausnehmen. Bei grüner Anzeige, wie hier ein Bild vom späteren Vormittag, fährt Ingo nach Plan. Verspätungen im Berufsverkehr sind keine Seltenheit, doch daran trifft Ingo meist keine Schuld.
Das kommt schon des Öfteren vor, dass wir Falschparker haben und dadurch behindert werden. So summiert sich das. Jetzt sind wir schon bei 4 Minuten Verspätung. Aber das lässt sich halt auch nicht ändern. Das muss man wegstecken. Da ärgert man sich einen Moment drüber.
Just our luck.
You mean, you don't...
Dia, is that you? What a coincidence. You here for a drink too?
Zaki.
Oh, and who do you have with you here? Guests from another land? Hello, hello.
We've had drinks together a few times. Anyway, as far as my friends here, they aren't too shabby, are they? You rarely see any Outlanders so friendly and respectful now.
Absolutely. Much better than those people on the other side of the wall.
Yeah. Have you seen Edgar Delavar?
Of course I have.
I've got a spice trading deal from another nation. I thought maybe Delavar and his...
Ah, how thoughtful of you. Then I assume you also know that...
Hey, keep it down. Let's just say I prefer to keep this deal a secret. Y'all at Caravan Rebot are like family.
Yes, how considerate of you.
Und dann ja, hat man nicht so viel Zeit zum Ärgern. Dann kommt was anderes, mit dem man sich beschäftigen muss.
Wie lange Ingos Bus von Haltestelle zu Haltestelle braucht, haben Kollegen bei der Fahrplanerstellung ermittelt. Mit einer Probefahrt abgeglichen mit Erfahrungswerten.
Are we there yet?
Yep.
This place is practically deserted. What are they doing in a place like this?
Why don't you take a guess? Go on. A wild...
Oh no! It's an ambush!
What's this all about, Zaki?
Come on, Dia. You really think we didn't hear about what you said back in Aru Village? The boys have kept a close eye on you from the moment you set foot. Not only do I know that you're looking for Delavar, I also know that you've teamed up with people from the Academia.
So, you've been watching us from the very beginning?
Uh-oh. I'm a newly...
And you left the strongest one in the village, didn't ya? Who do you think you are? You really thought we'd fall for your little business deal nonsense?
So you and Delavar have been part...
Dia, I guess it's only natural for a traveling mercenary like you to be out of the loop. Those of us who... But you got one thing right. We're all looking forward to an uprising in Sumeru.
If that's the case, then I'm sure Delavar would.
I'll be honest with you. If it weren't for what you said in the village, your little monologue about the Wall of Samiel would have convinced me that you're one of us.
Delavar. And Enger. You're here too, huh?
Long time no see, Miss Mercenary. You should have known the traitors are what us followers of King Deshret despise the most.
Dia, I thought that you, a fellow desert dweller, would understand why King Deshret is great.
Yeah, gee, what a missed opportunity. Adopting radical views and kidnapping innocent scholars, all because of...
See? There you have it. Mercenaries are just a bunch of faith...
You're not wrong. Mercenaries are driven by Mora, and my faith lies with whoever's paying me. As long as there's a profit to be made, anyone can become my friend.
Enough talking! Get him!
Just as I expected. Let's teach him a lesson, traveler.
Following orders. Forth, my blade.
Higher, higher, hands on fire! See? Go!
Impossible!
So, what do you think about your meticulous network now, Zaki? I'm guessing your informant told you that I'm just an incompetent merc with no real fighting skills, correct? I mean, that is what I said after all. And of course, you would believe everything he reported. The only thing you know about me is that I'm a merc. Even though you heard we went to handle monsters together, you believed that Candace was the only one doing all the real fighting. That so-called Flame Mane is just a fraud. She admitted it herself. She just uses her connections to gain the trust of... That's what you thought.
Ugh. You lied in the...
And you were stupid enough to fall for it. I figured as much the first time we drank together. You all thought you were so smart. Okay.
Whoa! So you've been planning this since we were in Aru Village?
No task can be done without preparation. I just happened to notice a couple
Oh, but instead of catching them right away...
Those two who were snooping around were just a couple small fries. If we want to get the real catch, we...
Oh! You mean the funny name she mentioned back in Uncle Ampu's house?
That's just a bunch of drunk talk. Enger and Delavar like to talk themselves up when they're drinking. Enger, alcohol has a way of making people share what they really think.
What about Zaki?
He's just a numbskull who fell right into our trap. Zaki was probably the best hidden of them all. My initial plan was to find Delavar first, and then try to... That's what you wanted to ask when we were at Uncle Anpu's house, right? Jabari is one of the villagers you talked to. You know, the one who wanted to treat Isak and his grandpa to some food.
Wait, so he's a rat?
No, he isn't. I just needed to tack on a random villager name to make the eavesdropper...
Wow! What?
Ah, you're too kind.
So, that... About how mercenaries only care about...
Does that bother you? What makes you so sure?
Dia, do you dislike the Dendro Archon like the other desert folk?
You two are pretty sharp. No, I don't have anything against the Dendro Archon. I've heard a lot of nice things about the Lesser Lord from Dunyarzad. I can understand her devotion and gratitude. Dunyarzad's just an ordinary person. There's no way a god would be so involved in the lives of everyday people, unless they were truly compassionate.
I've begun to realize that the sages are behind everything that's happened recently. The radicals' blind belief in King Deshret, making the Dendro Archon out.
But I see through it all. And unlike them, I can never be...
Dia...
Anyway, looks like we're done with... This should be all of them. I'll let you...
All right. I'll be...
Candace, do you need...
Candace will be okay on her own. I trust. She's been guarding Aru Village for quite some time now.
While I'm questioning them, Why don't you pass some time by exploring the...
I'll meet you back here tomorrow morning, Traveler. As for these idiots, let's just hope... Candace is an expert at...
You heard the question. Now You heard the...
Dabei konnte nicht berücksichtigt werden, starker Verkehr zu Stoßzeiten und unvorhersehbares. Mittlerweile hat Ingo schon 6 Minuten Verspätung.
Right on time.
Paimon's been wondering. You seem to know Candace.
We've known each other for some time now. She's a pretty interesting person. Even though she's an
Oh, Paimon knows what you mean. Like a lot of martial artists.
Yep, I guess you can put it that way. It takes strong convictions to be as dedicated as she is. Us mercs, on the other hand, we pretty...
Well, Paimon thinks...
Really?
Oh, Sino's here.
Yes. I was here yesterday to help out a little.
To help out? By doing what?
Sharing some interrogation techniques.
Oh, you mean you taught Candace some more persuasive methods?
Right.
Come on in, everyone.
Come on, let's go inside.
Candace, where? Whoa, you look furious.
Do I?
Oh, there's no mask that can hide true bloodlust. Cover up your eyes, and it'll still show itself at the corners of your mouth.
Perhaps I need to work on my composure. Still, it's perfectly understandable why I'm angry.
Yeah, please, don't beat it.
Well, looks like Sino taught her well.
You fear death yourselves, yet you do not hesitate. The ones you call mad scholars are known to us as the Village Keepers. They are vital members of our community. You come here to...
Mercy!
You've made your... We may both be desert dwellers. But there's one thing that the people of Aru Village care little about which god is in power. Life may be tough. A war would only cause us to...
We understand. I'll tell you everything I know.
I'm listening.
You might not believe this, but it wasn't us who came up with this idea. Someone was spreading some mystery man told us that mad scholars will make the perfect sacrifice to usher in King Deshret's resurrection.
They're called Village Keepers. Slip up again, and you'll...
Yes, it was all that mystery man's doing. He told us to spread the word about King Deshret's resurrection, and talked us into helping him. In return, he said,
That's one.
Huh? One what?
Strike. You get a total of 3. Then, you die by...
Wait, I'm telling the truth! He got us to lure them out of their houses in the night with some kind of incense. We take them to a junction outside the village. Then the mystery guy You gotta believe me, please.
That was indeed the truth. Traveler, go on.
You have to believe me. That guy, he wears a cloak, and he's always...
I believe I may know what's going on.
Uncle Anp?
Okay.
If my suspicions are correct, some time ago, people from the Academia attempted to take the... It strikes me now that this secret...
Which means it's highly likely that the Academia would... They were the ones who brought them here to be...
Not the Academia again.
Just as I thought. But what could they want with...
People are nothing but tools in the eyes of the Academia. Regardless.
You're right.
It's time to go. Let's.
Yes.
You got it. Candace?
All right.
Let's meet back here once.
What scheme is the...
Let's get some food in us and then we'll. Where did you come from?
Well, as you can see, I am merely sitting here and reviewing what we have deduced thus far.
You were gone for ages, and now you're suddenly sitting here mute. Hey, what's with the side?
You never think things through before asking questions.
Paimon's so mad. Paimon's gonna give you an ugly nickname. There's just nothing super obvious to pick with.
Well, you've heard nothing to suggest I left this whole time. So anyway, you...
Yep. Enough with the silent treatment!
No. I'm just surprised that you decided to team up with him.
Alhaitham, you haven't helped us out at all ever since we arrived at Aru Village. Bold...
Yeah, you're all tough.
While you were investigating, I had my own work to do.
Really?
To be honest, we aren't really a team, so I have no obligation to not to mention that going separate ways allowed me to find some important information.
Huh? Right?
Correct.
What did you learn?
I'm going to take you to someone. But
What is that?
how do you think the residents of Aru Village feel about what we're doing? In other words, do you truly believe every single word the villagers tell us?
You mean...
Hiding the truth does not necessarily... Remember what Candace said? Most people in Aru Village don't necessarily care which deity is in charge. By contrast, the perils of their daily lives are ever-present concerns. They won't simply share everything. Glad you're following along. Among those you have talked to, there's someone who was consciously keeping you out of the loop. In fact, she's been observing your every move since you arrived. The reason being, to someone who only wants to live their life in peace, any...
Those eyes. Those fierce eyes.
Don't change the subject.
It's quite obvious that she's intimidated by Sino's authority and strength.
Right. You were
She corrected herself mid-sentence because she's aware that there are King Deshret fanatics in the village. If she sounds too friendly towards the village keepers, she could easily make herself...
I think it's been a few days since I...
Remember? She made a point of denying her involvement in...
But honestly, I feel quite sympathetic towards them.
After speaking to the village chief, it became clear that the village keepers had protected Aru Village at night. In other words, the young miss was very much awake during that time.
Then why...
By getting involved with an outsider, she risks drawing unwanted attention to herself. As for why she might be so...
I'll pass on this one. You said that she is afraid of me.
We're on it!
Miss Shawnee, as we discussed earlier...
Mr. Alhaitham, I'm aware of where you stand, but...
Huh? What do you mean?
Go ahead and talk to her. Go on.
Is it really that simple?
May I call you Traveler? Hi, Traveler. Do you think the resurrection of King Deshret can truly change Sumeru for the better? Why's that? That's very similar to what Miss Candace says. I know you two are friends. Before, I wouldn't even... Traveler, do you believe our lives will get better?
Yeah! But even so, we have friends in Sumeru.
I want to my apologies for posing my...
Alhaitham told us you have your reasons. It's okay.
The fact is that only one side of my family is desert folk. Some believe in the Dendro Archon, while others believe in King Deshret.
Speaking of which, the Radicals mentioned that they despise traitors.
Yeah. Some people can... Slowly, I just stopped talking to people. And then it happened. The village keepers who had helped me disappeared with no explanation, and I didn't dare breathe a word about—
You can tell them. I'm sure.
All right. I actually have a sharper sense of hearing than most. Sometimes I hear strange crying sounds in the night. Perhaps. I'm not sure. It's faint. It used to be louder and more frequent. But ever since you arrived in the village, it doesn't seem to happen as often. And when it does, it's much quieter. I have to focus really hard to make it out.
I confirmed this with the guards on night duty. They also have someone with a good ear, and he's heard similar sounds at night. But because we're in the middle of a desert, he would rather believe that they are the cries of beasts than ghosts.
There's really nothing around these parts, except for an old hospital.
I think they used to use it for treating Elazar, but it's been abandoned for years.
Yeah, let's go.
Ich bin ja bemüht, pünktlich zu fahren, aber ich kann jetzt nicht schneller fahren. Hier ist 30er-Zone, dann fahren wir 30. Und ich kann versuchen, an den Haltestellen schneller zu sein, die Türen schnell zuzukriegen und wieder zu rollen. Aber sonst habe ich ja keine Möglichkeit, das irgendwie zu beeinflussen. Morgen. Den können Sie bei mir bekommen, ja. 22,40 € kostet der.
Auch verlängerte Ein- und Ausstieg.
Is this the place? It's in terrible shape. And there's sand everywhere.
Empty and forgotten. An ideal place to hide people.
May knowledge guide you.
Well, since you asked so nicely.
Got a problem you can't.
Monsters! Watch out!
Emerge right now, right here.
Gather!
Rain cutter. Rain outlines your move right now, right here, right now.
Solidify! Bring it on! Get moving!
They were easier to deal with than Paimon had expected. Super strong bandits? He looks super serious. We gotta stay on our A game too.
This is the one. Let's go in and
Hey, I hate that.
patience. Shawnee says she only hears the crying at night. We have time to burn. Until then, I'm taking a break.
And just like that, he sits down. Wait, what are you reading?
Okay, sure.
Huh? The natural position, which is the
So,
Oh, Paimon gives up. You keep reading your book. See ya. How is he so relaxed? Look at him, reading an impossible book in a creepy place like this. Hey, Paimon's your Teyvat travel guide. And anyway, it's not Paimon's fault that the books people read in Sumeru are so... Paimon's getting so sleepy. Huh? What was that sound?
There it is. It's coming from that direction.
Is the sound coming from here? Huh. Paimon's not seeing anything.
Hmm? It's from below.
But there's no way we can...
Something is off about the interior here. As I thought.
Wow. It's like they tucked in the... Oh, it looks like there are other mechanisms.
Wait up.
Stabilize! Enshroud! Right here.
Fracture! Yeah. Cyclone! Yeah. 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 Bring it on! Can't see?
Look! There's someone over... Good idea. Let's...
Wait. You're...
He can't speak, and his eyes are unfocused. But also,
didn't expect to see him here.
You know him?
He's Razak, a senior of mine at the Academia.
He's a scholar too? Is he the kind that holds up in a...
No. Razak was never involved in any of those things. He never trained in the forest, let alone reach Satyavada life. Leaving that question aside for the moment, him being here alone looks like they've already taken everyone away. For whatever reason, they left Razak here. There are drag marks on the ground. They're clearer by the doorway. Someone was forcefully drawing a cart that...
Loaded with...
That is one possibility. It looks like they were in a hurry. The symptoms are identical. Looks like...
Huh?
Allow me to jog your memory. Recall... Don't you think his symptoms look familiar?
Oh!
Correct. The Academia, it isn't difficult to deduce their rationale.
First, the Academia spread a false rumor of King Deshret's
These rumors were all the persuasion that the Radicals needed, as well as being able to exploit the Radicals for their own ends.
Life for the Desert Dwellers has been brutal ever since King Deshret's death all those years ago.
Many would give everything,
even if complications arise.
The notion of an Academia plot wouldn't even cross their minds. It may seem like a simple strategy, but it is able to work wonders under Sumeru's current circumstances.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. But there's still one very important question. Wasn't it the Academia that brought the scholars to Aru Village in the first...
Throughout this process, one thing has changed. First, they were scholars. Then, they became lunatics. After that, they were exiles. And finally, an exile is still patently a living, breathing human being. If you can't find someone, you have no way of knowing what exactly happened to them.
Resource? For...
One possibility is that the information in their brains could be extracted into knowledge capsules.
Extracted?
With the technology of the Sumeru perhaps the process caused them great suffering.
So, the human brain... Nope!
I'm the Academia scribe, after all. I'm familiar with their projects. Anyway, judging by Razak's state, the contents of a divine knowledge capsule were extracted from his... Or perhaps, his curiosity got the better of...
Hyman's a little...
The look on your face tells me you've realized the answer. That's right. To some scholars, gaining knowledge about the gods is their entire life's pursuit. However, the Academia is going out of their way to look for forbidden knowledge. I've spent quite some time trying to analyze the contents of the divine knowledge capsule, but to no avail.
You mean you're not even slightly interested in getting your...
All scholars seek to expand the horizons of knowledge, but I'm not particularly in extracting information from people as if they were lifeless objects.
Sounds like you're really against...
Of course. The Academia, whether it be academics or knowledge, everything has its boundaries. If those this matter needs to be corrected.
Wait! Didn't you step in to help?
Not to be callous, but no. There is no shortage of suffering in Sumeru, and the same can be said for the rest of...
Probably not.
You can say that. Simply put, I don't blindly place my faith into strength or heroism. I do what I want. The divine knowledge capsule is something I want to investigate in full. That...
Hyman's been wanting to say this for a while.
Though I must say, uniqueness is also an asset, is it?
Wow, that's a great...
I'm just a more likable person than her in general. There's nothing more to it than that. He won't last long if we leave him here. We'll work out our next step after we...
Keep up. There's something that tells me a new case is brewing.
We're back!
You must be tired.
What's the situation?
Unfortunately, somebody who's too young to take on the role of Isak's grandfather. Nevertheless.
So, at one point in time, the abandoned Elazar...
Yep, pretty much!
Their plan must have been implemented at some point before we arrived at Aru Village, since Divine Cant and knowledge has been... Yet... They fled once we were headed to the...
We may have a mole in our midst. One of us could be secretly revealing our whereabouts to the Academia.
Huh? Are our friendships that shallow?
Looks like none of you have realized wherein lies the issue. Sino, you're the reason why they can predict our movements.
Wait, what's that supposed to mean?
Choose your next words very carefully.
It is simply a logical inference.
So what you're saying is interesting. And here I thought you were the most suspicious one, Alhaitham.
I know. You have a point. But I realized something as we were returning from the hospital. Sino isn't like any of us.
What are you trying to say?
Do you still remember who you are, General Mahamatra? As a Matra, you are no doubt privy to certain kinds of information. Before you can take action against someone, you are required to have all the facts available, including the less than savory details. Simply put, the Academia has traditionally allowed you access to a wealth of sensitive information. Knowing their modus operandi, wouldn't you expect them to take precautions against you? If you want to raise a vicious wolf, you need to make sure that you can avoid its bite.
The Academia is monitoring me?
It's not that simple. The Academia has eyes all over Sumeru, but they have a special protocol for dealing with you. Every so often comes a Nyagarbha Day. On this day, the Academia enters new information into the Akasha through knowledge capsules. I remember seeing a thick notebook next to the control panel once. Its contents were all about the General Mahamatra, his activities throughout the day, preferred methods of enacting judgment, everything.
You're saying that the Academia entered my information into the Akasha too? But what's the point in doing that? My actions aren't important enough to be added into the...
The Akasha is capable of computation. The Akasha's algorithms are entirely capable of predicting your movements using the data entered. When you would depart, the route you would follow.
It predicted my every move.
The Academia has been watching you longer than you think. However, the fact that you resigned is proof that their suspicions were well...
So that's how it is. Sino adheres to his principles so strongly that he's actually a thorn in their... Tenacity of will and steadfast faith are worthless to the Academia. Sino, don't take it to heart. This just proves how much...
They escaped because of me.
Don't blame yourself. It's not like any of us would have known.
I have an idea. If they predicted my movements, then I might be able to guess what...
Whoa, you bounced back.
There is always an opportunity for safety after...
Oh, so that's how... If the Academia is trying to avoid Sino, then this... Yep, that's right.
They'll want to proceed in the direction opposite of where I'm going. I must go.
There's also something I want to investigate.
Let's go, guys! After him!
Please, wait! I want to go too!
You want to go too?
I want to find Grandpa!
Everyone, I leave him in your hands.
Yay! Let's go! Paimon feels like we're missing someone, though.
My intuition tells me that something very interesting is about to happen.
Yes. After leaving the village, we should head straight toward the desert.
I know the desert like the back of my hand.
Is that because you play here a lot?
Yep. One time, Grandpa almost got lost in the desert, but I was the one who brought him back.
There's something here. What's this?
It's buried in the sand. Looks like we'll need to roll up our sleeves and do.
And Paimon thought running around everywhere was already enough work. Okay.
These are likely fragments of an Academia-developed device, something akin to a headset. Looks like there were more than one village keeper. They must have been escorted. Let's split up and search the area.
Is this what we're searching for?
This is definitely a device used to extract divine knowledge.
How did it end up buried in the sand? They must have been attacked along the way.
Wait, what?
Grandpa, I hope you're okay.
Don't worry. Your grandpa's gonna be
Razak didn't display any signs of starvation or dehydration, which means that they left fairly recently.
We should be able to catch up.
One more thing. Given that the device had been entirely I believe the attack must have happened prior to the sandstorm.
Let's keep going. They can't have gone.
But running on sand is so tiring.
But you're flying, aren't you, Paimon? Is flying over sand tiring too?
Hello folks, quick Nahida video here of all the failed escapes with our decoy Nahida. It was a surprise seeing her the first time around, and I was curious how many
Been caught.
fail states there are in this little mini sequence. So let's take a look at all of them.
Of course it is!
Why is
Voices,
there a guard
over there.
Did he already run ahead of me?
It sounds like an argument.
Whoa! You have really good ears!
But there's no time.
There are many ways to
Don't get
fail.
any closer.
The easiest one
They'll notice
is
us.
to wait for the time to run out. That will fail you on all occasions except once.
Hey, stop! I saw you! Don't try to run!
Why is there a guard over there? Did he already run ahead of me? This is different
Anyway,
from
let's
the
start with
plan.
the right path towards the house. This one's actually longer. If you want to save time, take the left path.
Dia's talking with the Eremites? Very interesting. Let's listen in.
If you had informed me sooner, there'd be plenty of room for us to.
You're one of us. We would never lie.
Scholars. You don't know as much as I do. Need me to.
I knew it.
Dia? Why would you? Dia!
Hey! What are you doing?
Huh?
Didn't you say you'd help me find Grandpa?
Where?
This complicates things.
You've betrayed Aru village?
So, this is the great General Mahamatra. Dear, you'd be better off as my assistant than hanging around with this motley crew. Seen for yourself. I have the...
I'm not the type that's easily swayed, Raman. You of all.
Wait! What's going on, Dia? Whose side are you on here?
Shut it, Paimon.
It doesn't matter. Whichever side you pick, nothing can deter us from the grand mission of resurrecting.
Face the facts, Raman. It's not gonna happen. You should understand that more than anyone. Have all your—
I'm a desert dweller and a proud follower of King Deshret. Whether
It's not too late yet. The village mad scholars aren't gonna bring King Deshret back to—
You don't understand, my dear lady. Pursuing our faith is our purpose.
Even if it'll expose you to the academia? Even if they end up disbanding the Eremites?
Yes. We've waited a long time for this day to come. The sun and the moon no longer— With these scholars in our custody will—
Ridiculous. If you still don't believe me, then try asking these two men. They're also against the academia, but neither of them are—
They look more like pawns of the academia to me. But filthy traitors. Your god abandoned all honor and betrayed King Deshret.
It's impossible to communicate with someone, so perhaps we should.
Do you really believe that by kidnapping the scholars, you'll be able to negotiate with the academia? These people have no value as bargaining chips, but I could be persuaded to take their place as your next hostage. These scholars were exiled from the academia. I, on the other hand, am their—
Wait, you can't be serious.
So, you want to trade?
Precisely.
What are you thinking? What if they decide to kill you instead?
Well, that would be bad luck for me. However, I'd get the chance to observe—
Think you can talk me?
I'm not trying to persuade you.
You are the scribe. What do you have against the act?
Not all desert dwellers believe in King Deshret, and the same applies to the academia. Why must all knowledge seekers approve of the
You academia scum. Every last one of you is nothing but a hypocrite, just like everyone.
Not so fast. I'll hate them. Do you stand by everything you just said?
I never make—
You know you're making a dangerous decision, right?
I do.
Good. Raman, hear me out. These people are my friends. Maybe you can't take the followers of the Dendro Archon at their word, but what about—
We've known each other for years.
In that case, I'm willing to vouch for their honesty with my right arm. Come on, Raman, don't be a coward. If you're serious about—
An arm from the— What if you refuse to oblige? What should I do then? No one's a fool here, Dia. We're mercs.
You're not wrong, but this is different. I promised my friends that we'd—
Let's do it right here, then. Give me your right arm as proof of your resolve.
Don't listen to him! He's not even trying.
That's fine.
Are you crazy?
We came here to save lives. One arm for that many people is still a pretty good deal, if you ask me. Raman, I'm
Sure. Go ahead and cut off her right arm.
No! Dia! What are you gonna do? Think of something!
You don't have to go this far.
That's not for you to decide.
Do it! Stop!
What's wrong?
Flame Mane, you and I are both desert folk. Cutting off your arm is no different. You've shown me that you're serious. Go on now, take...
Phew. I was really counting on him not go—
Dia! That was crazy!
Then I just have to hold my claymore with my left arm. Okay.
Don't ever make a promise like that again. I can deal with the likes of them if it came down to it.
I don't doubt it, Sino. But this is about more than me. Even if we got rid of one bunch of rats.
I'm sorry, Dia. I should have stayed put.
It's okay. I promised you I'd help find your.
Whatever it takes. You just.
Huh? Are you serious?
The Eremites once said that I was a lunatic. Perhaps a little madness is a sin.
Why does it feel like he's using his praise for me as an excuse to brag about himself? Okay, let's get moving.
Let's have a look behind the house.
What should I do next?
First, let's wait it out and get caught.
Hey, stop! I saw you. Don't try to run. Let's have a look behind the house.
What should I do next?
Huh. Looks like nothing's here. A wasted time.
Luckily, he didn't check behind the tree. What should I do next?
So there's no timer this time. You're just gonna have to return to the position eventually.
The guard looks alert.
And this is the only occasion that running out of time will not fail you. You want to actually stay hidden, so running out early will get you caught.
The guard looks alert. What should I do next?
Running out of time and waiting will give you the same results.
Doesn't seem like anything unusual's around here.
Looks like the guard finally.
Now we converge from the fork, and both paths will lead to this area. The correct choice in the story is to lead all the guards to the bazaar, and that's what we're not gonna do. The funniest one is to go towards the city center. Choosing that will actually let Isaac escape the guards, but fail the mission because the guards are not baited correctly. If you go towards the field, you'll find the guard that will try to catch you on the field direction of the branch, on the first fork. Go towards to the bazaar. The correct choice in the story is to lead all the guards to the bazaar, and that's what we're not gonna do. The funniest one is to go towards the city center. Choosing that will actually let Isaac escape the guards, but fail the mission because the guards are not baited correctly.
There's something in the air. Something that tells
If
me
you
new
go towards
cases
on the
Where should I go?
without any cutscenes. And now let's check out the other branch.
Something dark by? Huh? I should go check to see if...
Run out. Even though the guards should be able to see us right here, we're not hiding behind any building.
Don't try to run.
The guards should be able to see sight. I'm surprised the guard doesn't see us. We're right in front of him, but we'll just wait for the time anyway.
No, I mean literally. Hey, I need to search high and low for evidence.
Now, already back.
Lesser Lord Kusanali. Lesser Lord Kusan. Hey, Lesser Lord.
Going towards the city center will let Isaac escape, but fail to bait the guards. The last new choice is to go towards the city gate, which is toward the houses that we before, and we'll get caught here as well. The good ending
Has escaped into the grand
stuff.
Assemble and arrest her. Hurry up and find her.
Where's your team here? Didn't we say to split up our search?
My
Hurry,
intuition
hurry.
tells me that something very
This place
interesting is
is-
about to happen.
Why are you all here? Everybody's here. Yeah, isn't it one heck of a coincidence? Everybody's here. What on earth is going on? I suppose that's all of you?
Doing detective work means you gotta walk the walk. No, I mean literally. I need to search high and low for evidence.
Hi, mein Name ist...
You're all here so early.
Looks like we have everyone here. Isak?
I'll watch from a safe distance.
Okay.
Dia, wait.
What's the matter?
I heard that you were quite reckless.
Show them. Emerge.
Crumble!
Huh. They got here before us.
Uh-oh. Is it because Paimon overslept by 5 minutes and held everyone up?
Is everything ready?
Absolutely. You brought fewer people than I imagined.
Bring him over.
Grandpa! Why is there a...
Raman, I've always thought of you as a man of his...
It's a one-for-one exchange. And let me put it this way. Agreeing to any kind of deal with the Dendro...
You stay right there!
Flammate! What do you think you're doing?
Grandpa!
Don't you see this blade here? You coward! Why are your hands shaking? Wait a second! It's a earthquake!
Paimon's dizzy.
this day's going just...
The sand dune collapsed. I saw an energy field. The village, it glowed green with dendro. Just like you said, it may well have been the remains of Lesser Lord Kusanali's power inside the scholar's body. The Dendro Archon.
Grandpa?
Hey, look.
Did there used to be a temple here?
It seems that when the sand dune collapsed, it exposed the symbols on the gate belong to King Deshret's civilization. This structure must be ancient. No, it could have been an underground palace in the distant...
Oh, a miracle. Praise King...
What's he doing here?
They must have fallen down here with us. Most of them seem in really bad shape.
Mind your head.
No, this isn't the time for conflict. Our exalted lord has shown...
He said
As it happens, I wanted to...
What are you doing?
Don't you think it's curious? 1 minute, Lesser Lord Kusanali's power protects us from harm, and the next, two major deities are vying to showcase their power to us. It would be a shame not to win.
Paimon thought you weren't in...
Indeed. In my view, gods are just a higher form of living being. Or new discoveries are always worth investigating.
Raman, what are you gonna do about...
I'll just let them lay here. King Deshret will take care of his people. Right now...
Send one, send 'em all.
Time for some training?
Kriegszeiten an den Haltestellen können eine Fahrt verzögern.
Bitte.
Aber Ingo kann Zeit gut machen. Mit 4 Minuten und 10 Sekunden Verspätung erreicht er eine der beiden Endhaltestellen auf seiner Linie. Hier ist ein
This defies comprehension. It looked completely desolate from the outside. Yet...
Yeah, and there's so many plants. It's so...
Sir Rahman.
Huh?
Do you see another Rahman here?
Are you mocking me?
Interpret it however you want. But there's something I'd like to draw your attention to. While this structure is clearly left over from King Deshret's civilization, the energy that flows in here is that of the Dendro Archon.
Whatever you say. It's not like I have a...
There's nothing to be angry about. Think of the...
It does seem kinda strange. If that's true, then we might have to
One with my foot.
Right now. Right here.
Swift and merciful, from whence you came.
Right now. Right here.
Higher, higher, hands on fire!
Forth, my blade.
Come on out. Emerge.
Solidify!
A sight to behold. Right here. Right now. Emerge.
This is order. Gather!
Time to go.
One with my foot.
Right now. Right here.
Spirit blade. Attack!
I will have order. Stabilize. is a sight to see. King Deshret's splendor surrounds us.
There's so much vegetation here. It's different than what I expected.
Sure are a lot of plants for a desert.
That's what I call divine providence of King Deshret.
It's getting brighter! Oh, it looks so beautiful!
Wait, what's that?
A load of flowers. And it looks like there's something among them.
These are King Deshret runes.
They left something behind.
What does it say?
Here lies our faithful priest Kasala. His wisdom is a miracle among the people, deserving of high praise and admiration.
You can read ancient King Deshret script?
Of course. Every student needs to master at least 20 languages before they graduate.
He's not serious.
There's still something off about this place. The scent of life. Is it trying to...
Is this it?
Analyzing.
There seems to be a hidden message among these skeletal remains. Excellent. There's a device from King Deshret's civilization in this gravesite. I'll transmit the information over.
Isn't sharing knowledge?
Yes. However, under the circumstances, I'd prefer you'll understand after watching it.
Civilization is born of knowledge, but so too can knowledge be its demise. A disaster caught us unaware. It was knowledge that did not belong to this world. King Deshret brought this forbidden knowledge into our world, and it quickly spread like a plague. People's minds were filled with crazed whispers. Dark gray scales spread across their bodies. Even the land was stripped of its vigor. Only a desperate, deathly silence remained. Were it not for greater Lord Ruka Devata from the forests, the damage would have been irreversible. She summoned the priests to build temples and infused into them the divine power of life. The disaster was miraculously tempered, and the embers of our civilization were preserved in Aru village. Alas, the miracle could not last. As long as forbidden knowledge continued to exist, it would forever blight this world. In the end, the proud king of the desert, my eternal lord, chose to sacrifice himself. I have spent my whole life since guarding one of these many temples. But now, my duty is coming to an end. As I close my eyes for the final time, the sight of that noble deity will appear in my vision once more. In helping King Deshret to eradicate forbidden knowledge, she exhausted her strength, and her form became that of a small child. How strange. Now that I think of her, I no longer have any fear of death, for I sense that the spirit of life will abide with me during my eternal sleep. Children of the desert, cling no longer to past grievances, but hold tight to the memory of this act of benevolence.
What was that?
The priest's memories.
No. Greater Lord Rukkhadevata. So the form...
But this doesn't make any sense.
Was that the former Dendro Archon? She became so...
You might be distrustful of the Akasha, but there's no reason for you to doubt King Deshret. You've just witnessed his priest's last words.
I've never heard about any of this before. The surviving followers of King Deshret all gathered in Aru village. Our god did not. King Deshret's death, the all but total annihilation of our civilization. It was all... We saw her as nothing more than a traitor. Who stabbed us in the back in our moment of crisis. Just like us humans.
You were blinded by your prejudice.
If I hadn't seen this for myself, if I hadn't witnessed, how could I ever begin to accept this? The truth is so far from what I've always known.
Raman, that's enough. Give it a rest. You're
My Eremites and I. What do we even fight?
Hey.
I should probably go. Can't just...
What's your next move gonna be?
Oh, I know what you're going to ask. I feel deeply ashamed of everything I've done. But please, give me some time.
It's not gonna be easy.
Well, I guess that's for me to deal with.
When would be a good time for us?
Tomorrow. I'll convince everyone that we're all on. And I'll return every last one of your mad... sorry.
You seem to finally understand.
Yes. The gods never gave up on anyone.
That must have been rough. But...
Raman's no fool. Being the leader of your... It's too bad he was held back by his belief in King Deshret. But now that that's changed...
The outcome, at least, is...
We should get going too. Let's head back. Sino, we're leaving.
Stop yelling.
Zeitlicher Puffer als Pause eingeplant, damit sich die Verspätung über den Tag nicht summiert.
Wenn wir Verspätung haben, dann geht das von der Pause ab.